How much do you think this is going to impact the game at the weekend against Palace?
Oh, I think they're in a much better footing this weekend now than they were prior to, well, just after the Real Madrid game at home, when Tuchel himself conceded the tie. Basically, obviously, they were still in it, but he publicly conceded it. He also said he was worried about Southampton, who they whipped by 6 goals, if they played like the way they played again. So he got a response from his team on 2 games. Yes, he didn't get through, but he got a response in the league game. He got a response in Madrid. Could have won it, didn't, but it was a much better performance. And I think that puts him in a much better footing going into this game. Look, I saw Palace, it might have been, I can't remember if it was the first game of the season or a couple of games into the season at Stamford Bridge, and they were awful. They were absolutely awful. But he has turned it round big time, Patrick Vieira. It's obviously taken time for him to work and stuff, but as the seasons get on, they've got better and they've got better. Got some good young players in there. They've got a nice mix. And that was the infamous game recently at Selhurst Park when Lukaku only had, was it 1 touch or whatever it was? I can't remember. So they were, they're a tough nut to crack. They're a much better side than when Chelsea faced them at Stamford Bridge at the start of the season. Vieira's done some great work there, but there's no doubt Chelsea's record in the FA Cup in the last 20 years or so is terrific. It's a competition that I think Tuchel needs now because of his position in the league and out of the Champions League. And they're the favourites. If they play well and they're clinical up front, they're probably going to win this game. But it's not going to be a walk in the park because Palace are more than a decent side, I think.
One player Palace will be without is Conor Gallagher. The fear clause coming into play here, the 22-year-old on loan from Chelsea. And even though Palace did ask and request that he be able to play against his parent club, the answer was no. What do you make of this situation, Nedum?
I don't know if the guys agree with me on this, but for me, basically, obviously, it depends on the type of loan anyway. But if you're being loaned out by your club, they're basically saying that you're surplus to requirements for the season and you're not really going to be playing in the first team. So if you're not good enough to play in said team, then why do they think that you're too good to play against the same team? So I would have liked to have seen him go up and compete against them. And maybe that'll bring out more in their own side. I know there's the worry about, oh, but what if he scores against us? Well, focus that attention on your team and stopping the opposition from scoring against you. Like, if this guy's going to end up being the difference, then why is he on loan in the first place? And I think that's such a shame for him because it's such a big occasion, the semi-final of the Cup. And now in some ways, he's probably going to be rooting for his parent club to lose so he can play in the final. So, I don't know, it's a shame that he's going to be missing out. Who knows? You never know when you're going to get the chance to play at Wembley again. And the hope is he'll get plenty of opportunity in the future. And it's a shame that he can't play, but I suppose those are the rules within England. And yeah, it's just unfortunate the way that things have fallen out for him.
Oh, Steve, he's been instrumental in getting them there. Now he doesn't get the rewards.
You think Chelsea care? Hold on a second. If we let Conor Gallagher play, then Palace are going to be a far better side. And he's one of their top scorers and he might score. So guess what? He's not playing. I don't care who it is. If he's your player and he can beat you, then he's not playing. You take every single advantage you can. I don't care what it is. If somebody hands you an advantage, you take it. And to Nedum's point about Gallagher, I think Gallagher's in the stage where they're loaning him out because they can see the talent, but right at that stage of his career, he wasn't quite ready to step in the Chelsea first team. And so they've put him to Palace to get better so that they get the benefit.
Well, isn't this how you get better? By going up against better opposition?
No. Not if it's your own team. If it's any other team, 100%.
You know what? Yeah, we've got zero heart. Absolutely no heart.
Not at all. It's about winning.
We know that, Kay. We know that. He's a heartless git.
Yeah, right. Unlucky Connor. I'll get you a ticket.
Go on, Craig.
I'll get him a ticket for the game, though.
I agree on both points. They're both different, but I do agree. I think the rule for me, if you loan somebody out, they're playing no matter who the opposition is. So if you loan a player out, he's playing against you. If his club feel he'll perform against his parent club, then he's playing. But that's not the rules. And I do agree with Stevie that, you know, clubs are going to do their utmost to try and weaken the opposition. It's unfortunate because, as we know, FA Cup semi-finals in particular are huge. They're great events. And for any young player, for any experienced player, they're great events. But for a young player getting that experience, so he's not going to get that. But let's not forget, Chelsea are cutthroat. This is a team that are under sanctions. This is a team that, asked Middlesbrough to play behind closed doors because Chelsea couldn't have their own fans there. They've tried everything this year to try and gain an advantage. So they're going to take this opportunity to make sure Palace's best young player, certainly this year, is not going to play. It's an unfortunate scenario of the rules in England. I don't agree with them, but that's what they are, and Chelsea are quite within the right to make sure he's not playing.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN FC on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and of course, ESPN FC 7 days a week, subscribe to ESPN+.